4 years, hundreds of videos, thousands of hours on the water, being misunderstood, wondering if what I was doing was even worth it, and all this before I ever made any money or saw any return on YouTube. This is the story of how I turned a vision that a lot of people at the time thought was crazy into a life of freedom. This is my journey like you've never heard it before, and hopefully it inspires someone else to take a leap of faith.
What's happening, folks, and welcome to another video. You know, I've wanted to do this video for quite some time, and this morning really inspired me to do it. I got a message this morning, as I do just about every morning, but this morning I got a message from a guy, and he said, "Hey Brent, I'm 1 year out of college, working a job, making just over $30,000 a year. With the way things are today, I don't know that I'm going to be able to live the same life that my parents lived. I'm thinking about quitting my job. I'm thinking about starting a business. Do you have any advice for me?" I get these messages every week. So in this video, I'm going to tell my story like it's never been told before. I'm going to go into detail like I've never gone into before, to the point where there'll probably be somebody in this video get triggered, and that's okay, because if this video inspires one person to follow their dream, to take a leap of faith, I'm okay with that. So in order to start this story, we got to take it all the way back to 2007. Now, 2007, I landed my first job. And when you land your first job, you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about who you are as a person. Now, some people may think, "Brent, this was a sweet job." I'll tell you exactly what I was doing. I was a sales rep for a fishing tackle company, and my job was to travel around Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and call on tackle stores. I would stop in and hand them catalogs, show them new product, answer questions. That was my job. I was on a salary making $33,000 a year. And if I would have stayed in that career, I might have topped out at 50 one day. That was about max for my position. As cool of a job as that was, for some reason, I was miserable. The whole time I was miserable. And I think if you're doing something and you feel miserable inside, that's your body telling you you're on the wrong path. Okay? Now, to the outside world, to friends and family, it looked like I was on the right path. I had a stable job with benefits, had a car, had a boat, had an apartment, but I was unhappy. And I was way too young to be unhappy. And that's when I learned that I don't think that I'm meant to work for someone else. At that point in my life, I was like, you know what? I feel like I am meant to forge my own path. All right, to create. And so I took a leap of faith. In 2009, I wrote a letter of resignation to my boss, gave him a 2 weeks notice, and said I'm quitting. And I didn't really have another plan. My only plan was, hey, I had this boat. It was a 20-foot Blazer Bay. I'm going to drop some photos of it if I have them, but it was a 20-foot Blazer Bay. And at the time, there weren't many people running fishing charters, especially inshore fishing charters. There were offshore big head boats and stuff like that. There was only a handful of inshore fishing charter captains. So I said, you know what? I grew up fishing in these local waters. My dad was a tournament fisherman. I've been fishing since I was 6 years old, fishing tournaments and stuff with my father. I said, you know what? I'm gonna attempt to start a fishing guide service. And I did in 2009. And 2 months after I started this fishing charter service, that's when the BP oil spill hit. Talk about the worst time to start a business, not to mention the economy wasn't doing that great in '09 either. So it was a really awful time to start a business. And right when that BP oil spill hit, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just quit my job. I only had a couple thousand in savings, maybe. And now I don't have a business because people weren't even, I don't think at the time, were coming to the beach, were allowed to go to the beach. Like it was a big ordeal. And so we had no tourism that time. I was booking 0 fishing charters, but I saw a little opportunity because BP posted that, hey, we're hiring people with a captain's license to do little jobs for us around Pensacola Bay. I was like, okay. Well, I applied and I got hired immediately. And so I got hired to work for BP. And for the next 6 months, I worked for BP. They paid really well. And so I was able to stay stable through the oil spill. After the oil spill, I took some of the money that I made in BP. I invested in a nice charter website. I invested in my business, started running Google ads, and I started getting charters. So, towards the end of 2010, I was getting quite a few fishing charters, and I was like, man, this might actually work. But I'll tell you something that was amazing. I wasn't making at the time at near as much money as I was making at my job. I wasn't getting that many fishing charters, but I was happy. I was motivated. I was creating. I was like, man, I got to keep going. I don't know what path I'm on, but I like it. I like it a lot better than when I was working for a boss that called me every single day, and I couldn't take that. I'm on this path. I'm running fishing charters. We have an okay 2011. I think in 2011, I made maybe 35, 40 grand running fishing charters. But hey, I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment. They allowed me to keep my boat at this apartment. I paid $500 a month to rent a 1-bedroom apartment. So my expenses then were very, very low. So 35 grand was plenty enough back then to live on. Nowadays, not so much. But at that time, it allowed me time to build this business. And so 2012 comes and I started getting phone calls from repeat customers, from referrals, from customers that had a good trip out there. And I'm going to overlay some footage of me running charters right here so that you can see it. 2012 comes around, and my business did almost 100 grand as a fishing charter captain. Now, it was all me out on the water fishing every single day, having to run 250 trips a year. But hey, I was blown away. And after expenses, I think I netted somewhere around 65. And I was like, man, I can do this. This is awesome. I took them, it's so rewarding to take a leap of faith and have it work out for you. And, fast forward to 2015, okay? 2013, 14, 15 were all very good charter years, 100 grand a year. But I started to realize, I got into my late 20s, I'm like, man, this is it. Like, I am never going to make more money than what I'm making now because I was having to use my body to do all this work. And I'm not saying that I was unhappy with the amount of money that I was making. I just felt like that once you start on a path of like creativity and creating your business, you don't want to stop. And so I was on this journey. I'm like, there's got to be something else I can add to it, something else I can do. And I remember being at a bar one night in 2015. I wasn't living my best life. I was not as healthy as I am now. I wasn't as happy as I am now. Even though I was happy and motivated because I was on my own journey, I'm a totally different person now than I was then. So I was out at a bar one night having a few drinks and just contemplating, like, what's the next move? What do I need to do? I got to talking with a random stranger at a bar here in town. And I told him what I did for a living. And he was like, man, you have one of the coolest jobs. It's like, you mean to tell me you get to take people fishing for a living? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why don't you showcase that to the world? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I've never thought about that. And he's like, why aren't you videoing that and showcasing it to the world? I'm like, well, how do I do that? Like, I was technologically ignorant. I was nothing but a fishing charter captain. I was actually one of the boys back then. Every captain in town called me all the time. I got invited to the backyard barbecues. Like, I was one of the boys during that time period of my life. I was a fisherman. That's what I did. The fishermen kind of stuck together. But I also had this like entrepreneurial need to like move forward and continue to progress. And the guy at the bar was like, how come you don't film what you're doing, put that on YouTube. And I'm like, okay. I've never thought about that, you know. So I went home that night and I kind of created a business plan in my mind. I'm like, what if I can start filming YouTube videos and putting them up on my website and on YouTube as a place for my current clients, my fishing charter clients, to go and view their trip after our trip's over. I was like, wouldn't that be cool? And so that was like my business plan. I was like, nobody else is doing that. All right, let's just give our clients a place where they can see their trip. And that is how Angler Up with Brant was born. And so I started creating these absolutely horrible videos. It was the worst sounding music, terrible editing, but you know what? I continued to do it. And once you do it, you get a little better. And I started putting them on the internet. And after every charter, I would tell my clients, y'all can go back to my YouTube channel and you can watch yourself on YouTube. And they loved it. But here's what was the interesting part about it. After I posted the second video, okay, I put it up on YouTube and I got a call. And they were like, hey, Brant, I just randomly came across your YouTube video. I saw you're running charters in Pensacola, Florida, and we're vacationing down there next month. Can we book a charter with you? Now my wheels are spinning because my wheels hadn't gone to, hey, let's use this to advertise the business, okay? So now I'm like, man, this could be an advertisement avenue. From then on out, I started getting calls, started getting more charters, getting more charters. And one day I was on a boat in 2016 with a client, and they were like, hey, Brant, we're moving down here and we want to buy a home. Do you have any friends that are in real estate? And I didn't think much of it, but that question will be a pivotal moment in my career in the future. So I continue to run charters, continue to put up videos, and I want to show you some metrics right here because it is really interesting. This is my Angler Up with Brant lifetime earnings right here, and I'm going to show you guys the exact amount at the end of this video along with my other earnings to show you what this business model can do to inspire. But first I want to show you, if you look right here, I posted videos from 2015 all the way to 2020 making nothing. I mean, maybe $5 a day, $3 a day, $4 a day. That was about average. So I wasn't making any money. Barely hitting the threshold to even get paid on a monthly basis. However, this was such a creative outlet for me. I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, I really enjoyed doing it, you know, and I was booking charters from it. And, you know, fast forward to 2018, I still hadn't quite put a business plan together of like where the future was going to lead. I was still only making, you know, around $65,000 a year net with my charter business. But in 2018, a local broker came to me and he was like, Brant, you got about 30,000 followers. Why are you not selling real estate to your followers and to your charter clients? And then a flashback hit me. It's like, remember the guy that asked me about buying a house in 2016? I'm like, man, I just messed up right there. I could have had my real estate license for the last 2 years. And I knew a lot about real estate because I was really into trying to buy rental properties and stuff. 2018, I'm like, I'm gonna get my real estate license. And I did. Now, I was still not convinced that selling real estate through a fishing YouTube channel was even possible, but it turns out even fishermen need homes. So I get my license and I make a video, and I make this video where I'm in Navarre, I believe it was Navarre, and I talk about real estate right here behind me. I'm actually in Navarre, Florida. Okay, I'm a real estate agent in Florida, and I have a showing today, a house showing at 9 o'clock. So before my house show, I got 2 hours to fish. So I was starting that video. I caught a big black drum in that video or whatever, but I mentioned real estate. Well, I got a call that evening. It was a buyer wanting to buy a Navarre home, ended up closing a deal and getting my first commission check a month and a half after getting my real estate license. And that was when I finally started to understand the financial possibilities of running a YouTube channel. Okay, I'm like, man, I'm booking Now, I was still not making the ad revenue, okay? I was still not making money off the channel. I had posted videos 3 years to this point, not making any money on the channel, but I was making money from my businesses from the channel. So I'm like, man, this is awesome. So I remember that month, my charter business made about $5,000, and then I got a $9,000 commission check. And I'm like, I just made $14,000. Like I'm blown away. Like this opened up like a whole new world for me. You mean to tell me I can make $14,000 in a month? And in 2018, that was a heck of a lot of, it's still a lot of money today. Fast forward to 2019, I did the same thing. Sold real estate, ran fishing charters. Well, 2020 hit and I had some big videos, okay? This was before the pandemic. I started kind of getting on a roll at the end of 2019, as you see right here. Into 2020, I started having some big videos. Those were the bridge monster videos where I was catching bull reds under 3 Mile Bridge. I started making money on YouTube for the first time ever. And this was like almost 4 years of consistently posting, never making a dime, hardly at all. And then all of a sudden, I'm making money. As you can see here, $100-something a day, $200-something a day. I remember getting my first like $6,000 YouTube check one month, and I'm like blown away. I'm like, this is a viable source of income, and this is just getting started. It was wild. So that year, 2020, was the best business year of my life up until then. Obviously, the pandemic hit. Everybody was freaking out. It was pure chaos, but my business was thriving like never before. And I'm going to tell you what was happening. I was posting videos. Everybody was sitting at the house. They didn't have nothing else to do. They were watching my videos. My videos were getting insane views then. And I was getting real estate leads from the videos. And I was selling houses to people moving to Florida. It was an absolutely insane year. I'd made like $250,000 that year. At the same time, okay, at the same exact time, a lot of people don't know this, creators didn't know this then, but Facebook was really going strong into the monetization, trying to compete with YouTube, compete with these other platforms. And nobody was posting on Facebook. So I started posting on Facebook, posting my videos. My videos blew up on Facebook, and all of a sudden they started generating a lot of revenue and real estate leads from Facebook. So at this point in time in 2020, I had Facebook income, YouTube income, real estate income, and I still had my charter business. And it was at this point in time in my life where I was like, I have to give up this charter business. You all remember in 2009, I took the leap of faith and started this business. It supported me all those years. And I'd already slowed way down because I was doing the internet stuff and real estate, but I was like, I'm selling the boat. I'm getting rid of the charter business. It's no longer a part of me. As soon as I got rid of it, it's almost like when you cut something loose that you're done with, you get rewarded. And as soon as I cut that charter business loose, everything else blew up. And it's been like that since 2020. And so here's what I've learned on this journey. I've learned so many lessons. It hasn't always been easy. I don't have the same friend group that I had prior to me doing the YouTube channel. I was one of the boys prior to the YouTube channel. As soon as I pick up a camera, you're not going to be one of the boys anymore. As soon as you start something that's crazy or start a big idea or do something that's wild, a lot of people are going to be freaked out about it. They're not going to want to hang out with you. They may even talk bad about you behind your back. A lot of that happened. Most of it's local. Most of it's local people, which is fine. It doesn't matter. I experienced so much of that, but you almost have to have thick skin. People are allowed to have their own thoughts and feelings. I let those people have their own thoughts and feelings about me because in reality, they don't know anything about me. I know about me. I know what I'm doing. I know why I'm doing it. Now I want to show you some metrics. And the reason I titled this video the way I did is because if you look right here, okay, I didn't start making money on YouTube until the end of 2019. Now here's my total revenue that I've generated from this particular channel right here in the past 6 years. This is what I've generated in the past 6 years. If we jump over to Facebook, I can't do the lifetime. I don't know why it won't come up, but Facebook is on par, equal to YouTube. If you look, like here's last month's Facebook payment right here, close to $12,000. That's what it averages a month. Facebook averages $10,000 to $12,000 a month for short form content. And you have to take my real estate sales. And that's the great thing about a YouTube channel is there's so many different streams of income that you can build from a YouTube channel. So obviously not all of my income comes from a YouTube channel. My income comes from Facebook, real estate sales, and YouTube. Yeah, I'm involved with Beach Bum Outdoors. They do a great job over there. That store is super stable, but we don't make any money off that store. That store is more for the community, for the fans, kind of a give back thing. Very stable store. I have really enjoyed helping market that project. So my revenue is YouTube, Facebook, and real estate sales. And if you add all of this up, since the end of 2019, I've made $2 million, right around $2 million. Obviously haven't kept all of it, kept a big chunk of it though, because the expenses in this business are very low. I don't have to advertise my real estate business. I don't have to advertise my YouTube channel. I don't have any expenses when I go places. I get my tackle for free, most of it, and most of my lodging is taken care of and stuff. So I don't have any expenses in this business because of that YouTube channel. And I'm telling you this to inspire, not to say, oh, look at me. I'm telling you this because there's so much misinformation out there about creators and businesses and YouTube and how much you make and how much of this. This is as real as I can make it, folks. If you are a kid out there and you want to follow your dream of doing whatever, I'm not telling you to be a YouTube star. You may want to start a lawn care service. I don't care what it is. You may have to work for 4 years without making a dime before it explodes, okay? There's a book that I read called Pound the Stone. I think that's it, Pound the Stone. And if you pound the stone long enough, that's a great book, but if you pound the stone long enough, eventually it's gonna split. And that's what you're going for. So many people, I've seen so many people get into business and get into YouTube, get into whatever it may be, and they pound the stone for 2 months and quit. All right, I truly believe that the reason that I'm where I'm at has nothing to do with anything other than the fact that I never stopped pounding that stone. I continued to move forward, and I think a lot of that was instilled in me from my athletic career, from growing up, playing sports and stuff like that. But I continued to move forward. I continued to pound the stone, and eventually it split. I work when I want to. I do what I want to. I have a great life. I love my life. I have freedom, but it wasn't always like that. I didn't come from money. I didn't come from anything really. I just kind of went the direction of my intuition, and that is all I did. And I think that is very, very important, because I think one thing that keeps us sick here in life is it keeps us stuck, sick, unhealthy, feeling bad, I think, is we don't follow our intuition. We're doing something that our body's like, yo, you are on the wrong path, okay? And if you are on the wrong path, then you're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel sick. Again, folks, I made this video to inspire. Hopefully I inspired one person out there with it. I don't know. Some of you guys may never watch my channel again after this, but I hope you do, because I greatly appreciate each and every one of you out there. And I gotta say, the reason that we're where we are today is because of you guys, because of the great fan base that we created. And back in 2017 and 18, when I wasn't making any money, all right, and people were kind of laughing at me, and people were talking about me behind my back. You guys came from all over the country, even all over the world, and supported the channel. So I was able to, yes, put in the hard work, but you guys came out and supported. And so I think it was a team effort. got to get to where we are. And for that, I just greatly appreciate it. I'm super blessed, super thankful. If you have any questions about anything, please reach out to me. All my information is linked in the description below. You know my story, you know the numbers, you know the metrics. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And hey, maybe we'll do another one of these in 5 years. We'll see. We'll catch you next time.